Hello, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Heal with Grace podcast. If you're tuning into this episode, I'm guessing you've been dealing with some sort of pain in your body, whether that's neck pain, back pain, fibromyalgia, weird pain, pelvic pain that people cannot figure out, and feeling like no one is giving you real answers. And so that is what I'm here to address today. You've probably been trying the meds, the stretches, the scans, the PT, you've done all the therapies, maybe even some expensive pillows that was designed by orthopedic geniuses, right? To help your neck, help your head while you sleep. And yet the pain is still there. Or maybe it moves around, or it gets better for a while and then it flares up again for no clear reason. If any of this fits you, then you're in the right place. And maybe you started to wonder, is it all in my head? Am I just broken? Am I doing something wrong? So if you're feeling that way, you're thinking that way, I'm going to stop you right there because you are not broken. Nothing is actually wrong with you. And the pain is not your fault. And I totally understand if you're like, yeah, obviously something is wrong with me. Don't tell me there's not. I'm not here saying your pain is not real. Your pain is 1000% real. The truth is that the traditional approach to pain is missing a massive piece of the puzzle, and it's keeping so many people stuck in this frustrating, exhausted loop. So, today I'm going to clear up the 5 biggest myths about chronic pain that I hear all the time, whether it's from doctors, well meaning family members, or even from our inner critics. And then we're going to talk about what's actually true, what's actually hopeful, and how you can start moving towards healing starting today. Are you ready? First, I'm going to just pause actually before we jump right in. And, if you've been here a while, you've heard a little bit of my story, but the reason why this is so important to me is because I dealt with very difficult chronic pain, debilitating pain for a while. And it kind of was on and off. So I'm going to just share a little bit to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And again, my story is specific to me. Like you have your specific symptoms in your story. You don't have to have the same symptoms as me for this approach to work for you and for your body to respond in the same ways. So if I really look back in my history, I actually started having pain symptoms when I was like 12, 13 years old. I was in cheerleading, I was competitive, and I didn't really understand. I just knew my body hurt. My hips hurt, my back hurt. And I couldn't understand why. And people would kind of talk to me about it and just explain that, oh, you're hypermobile and your hips are off sometimes, and that's why. But that's not like that was actually never helpful because I never learned actually how to work with it. So I just quit. I just quit the things that actually I enjoyed but brought me pain. And, that happened kind of on and off until the middle of grad school. No, really the beginning of grad school. I dealt with horrible pain all over my body from my head to my toe, like would go up and down my spine, neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, a lot of in my hips at that time, same as when I was younger. And I went from I did all the things, like I went to all the doctors, all the PT, I went to a yoga therapist, I went to everything. And to be honest, like they were all so helpful in their own ways. I never want to dismiss the work that someone's doing because they're doing the best that they can. I truly feel like the people I saw were doing the best that they could. Massage therapists and chiropractors, they did what they knew to do, right? And it helped manage, uh, right? Like some way, shape, or form kind of helps symptom management. Um, but I would still like go to sleep at night just crying myself to sleep because I didn't understand what was going on and how the hell am I 20, I think I was 3 years old in this amount of pain. And, I was told so many things like, oh, you just shouldn't be doing yoga anymore. That's not great for hypermobility. It's not great for your body. Or you can't do these movements or that movements. It was like I was pretty bound to just some stretches and like PT movements. Now, this is an important part. From the outside, I probably looked just fine. Maybe some people close to me knew I dealt with some pain, but no one really knew because I kept it under wraps because I was like, well, this isn't gonna, no one understands me, so what's the point? And because there were some times where I truly could operate without pain, meaning like I was with friends and hanging out and I was okay, right? Maybe I hurt when I sit a little bit longer, so I'd get up and move around, but it wasn't like, at least for me in my story, it wasn't like I couldn't walk or something like that. I was very functional in my life. I just couldn't do the movements that I wanted to do. I've always been a very active person and I wasn't able to do that. And I also just like sitting in class was miserable many times. So, my point in sharing with this is that yeah, I had actual real physical manifestations of pain. Like you could do an x-ray and show that I had a little bit of scoliosis in my spine. Yeah, my hips were totally off when I would go to the chiropractor and my neck was out of alignment. And there are true real things that still happen to today. But it doesn't mean my body still needs to have pain, that amount of pain that I was experiencing, that amount of discomfort. The reason that you are in this, the reason that I was in this, the root cause comes much more from what we understand about mental health, emotional health, nervous system health. So I'm going to put that there while we go into our myths and how I'm going to demystify them and help you understand actually what's going on in a body with chronic pain. And if you hear my dog running around outside or beside me, that's because he sees something outside that he really wants to get. Okay. Myth number 1, pain is purely physical. This is one we've all been taught. How could we not, right? Like, I understand this takes like a total 180 of you trying to understand what do you mean it's not physical? It is physical, right? So, okay. Yes, it is physical. But the reason behind it being physical is not physical. So, we've been taught that pain means something that is only physically wrong, right? So we scan, we poke, we prod, we treat the tissues. But what research is actually showing us now is that pain is not just a body issue. It's a brain, nervous system, and emotional issue. Now, I want to be super clear again. That doesn't mean your pain isn't real. It means your brain is playing a much bigger role than what we thought. So, in fact, your brain is kind of like a security system. Its job is to keep you safe. But sometimes that system gets too sensitive and it starts to sound the alarm even when there's no real danger. And this is where something like a modality, which I'm trained in, like pain reprocessing therapy, or PRT for short, comes in. It helps us retrain the brain to turn down that overly sensitive alarm system. Not only does it help change the brain, but we also know bottom up wise, when we talk about the body, we have to help the body release stored emotion and trauma, because what's happening is it's stored in our bodies and our brains are saying danger, danger. So I'm going to send some signals of danger to the physical body because it's safer to feel physical pain than it is emotional or any kind of experience of trauma that our nervous system deemed as dangerous. And when we work with this, when we treat pain from a non-physical standpoint, the results are actually pretty wild. In one study, 66% of people with chronic back pain were pain-free, truly, or nearly pain-free after just a few weeks of PRT. Not because they fixed their spine, actually not because they were treated physically at all, but because they changed their brain's interpretation of the signals. So yeah, this isn't just in your head. You're not just making this up. This isn't the negative connotation of psychosomatic, but your head definitely matters. So when I was in grad school, I finally, very, very, very gratefully, was referred by a naturopath I was seeing to a psychologist. He saw me for a while, and after I think he kind of saw my patterns and nothing was working, he was like, I think you need to go see this psychologist that I know that specializes in this work. And mind you, at the time I was in school to be a counselor, but we don't talk about this at all. No one discusses this. So I had absolutely no idea this connection. And so, and of course, at the time, I was like, I'll do anything. And sure, great, new psychologist. Within 6 months of working with her, and she did a lot of this work that I'm talking about 90 to 95% of my pain went away, truly away, and it actually hasn't come back. There have been times where I've had random kind of things pop up in times of stress for sure, but I know how to work with it and I move through it. But I don't have that type of pain and I'm not restricted by pain anymore. And that is why I'm so passionate about this work. And that's exactly why I do what I do. Yeah. So, myth number 2, more meds, surgeries, or physical therapy will fix it. Yeah, no. And I will say, this one hurts my heart a little bit because so many people are doing all the things and still not getting better. And I have to say, I know some wonderful practitioners out there, and I love them and the work that they do. But when your pain becomes something that is chronic like this, that modality is not going to actually help you. And when you keep going to all the different physical modalities and it doesn't get better, then eventually, even if you're not conscious of it, you end up blaming yourself. But here's the thing. If your pain is being driven by a neural circuit, not a structural issue, and when I say neural circuit, I'm talking about the brain. Our brain has certain circuits within our brain that is stuck in survival mode essentially and is stuck in this pattern of pain. And that's not a structural issue in your body, that's a brain neurochemistry issue. And when this is the case, physical treatments alone might not actually do much because they're only treating the body when the signal is actually coming from the brain. That doesn't mean that meds or PT are bad. I never say that. It's just that they're not working for this, for what you're experiencing. And it doesn't mean you're not broken. I mean, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means something deeper is going on. Your nervous system is stuck in a pattern of fear and tension and hypervigilance. And the most powerful healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing things differently, from calming the nervous system, getting us out of fight or flight, from retraining the brain and using new neural pathways, and by creating safety in the body instead of just chasing symptoms. Spoiler alert, you don't have to figure this out alone. It's literally what I do every day to help people, and I really hope that this is helping you. Myth number 3. Pain means damage. So you need to protect your body. This one gets so many people stuck. We feel pain, we automatically think, okay, I must have hurt myself. I need to be careful. I shouldn't move. I should rest forever and wrap myself up in bubble wrap. Or maybe you've been told that you have damage, right? You have a bulged disc or a herniated disc, or you have some tissue damage or something along those lines. Again, though, studies show us that pain and damage are not always connected. Specifically, when it comes to spinal issues like disc bulges or herniated discs, did you know that over 60% of people with no back pain at all have disc bulges or abnormalities on their MRI? So if you have pain and someone points to a disc or a spot on your scan, how do we even know that's the cause? We don't, actually, because pain is not just what's there on a physical level. It's what the brain believes is dangerous. So 2 people with the same herniated disc or disc bulge in their spine, you can literally see them on the scan, on an x-ray, the same x-rays. One person has pain and one doesn't. Now that doesn't make sense, right? And this is just an example of many people deal with things like disc bulge or just herniated discs or things like that. But it doesn't mean that you need to have pain associated with it. This is what we call a neuroplastic pain loop. And it can be rewired. We can literally teach your brain that this is safe, this is okay, you don't need protection here anymore. And no, you don't have to force it. We do it gently and we do it with support. We rebuild trust in your body one step at a time. So essentially, every single person on this planet, every human will have some sort of abnormality in their spine as they get older. That's aging. But you don't have to have pain with it. But it's a normal story, right? As you get older, you have aches and pains and blah, 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 right? And I don't mean that, doing this work, then you're going to feel perfect all the time. That's not the goal. And that's not realistic either because we're not perfect human beings. We are imperfect. And so, really, our body is just talking to us, sending us messages like, hey, this is not okay. Something's going on here. And I'm just going to keep sending you messages all day long of pain until you look at what's underneath the surface. So, moral of this story, of this myth, is that actually it's very normal to have abnormalities in your spine or physical, and I'm going to put in quotes, like big quotes, damage, because it's actually not damage, it's just normal. But it's normal to have different types of dis-ease, if you will, in your body. But again, it doesn't mean we need to have a bunch of symptoms and pain associated with it. So myth number 4 is that you just have to live with it. Chronic is chronic, right? So the Western medical community doesn't actually, they just put chronic on something when they don't really know what to do with it. When all it is symptom management. But I'm here telling you that it doesn't have to be just symptom management. You can truly heal and treat and not have to have pain like you do anymore. So I really actually hate this one. I hate this kind of diagnosis because it doesn't allow for actual healing and treatment. If someone told you, sorry, it's chronic, you'll just have to manage it forever, I just want to lovingly say no. Nope. Try again. Chronic doesn't mean permanent. It means persistent. And persistence doesn't mean you're doomed. It usually means your brain has learned a pattern, and no one ever taught you how to unlearn it. Neuroplasticity means your brain is always changing, which means pain is changeable too. I'm going to repeat that. Neuroplasticity, which is the ability for our brains to change, right? So long time ago, it was kind of thought that, oh, you hit like 25 years old and your brain is just stuck that way. No, we very much so know now our brains are totally adaptable. And that's when we change neural circuits. So it means that your brain is always changing. So the patterns that your brain has developed to get you into pain or put you into pain totally means it's reversible. It's totally changeable. And that doesn't mean, and it has nothing to do with how long you've had pain, even if you've had it for 5, 10, 20 years, even if other people don't understand it, and even if it feels hard to hope. There is another way, and you don't have to do it alone. Myth number 5, resting is weak. And that you need to push through it to get better. I know so many of you have been stuck in this belief, especially my perfectionists, my high achievers, my I can't slow down people. I get it. I was that person. And all you're doing is trying all the things all the time. You're trying to be the perfect healer. You're eating better or trying to eat in a certain way, super clean. You're moving your body as best that you can with the tools that you've been given to help manage. You're taking the supplements. You're going to yoga if you can. You're doing the things that you want to do or you think you should do, but it's not necessarily working. And not doing anything feels weak, right? But here's the thing. Healing isn't about pushing harder. It's about regulating better. Rest is not weak. Slowing down is actually the way to retrain. And it actually is the way to tell your nervous system it's okay to soften. It's okay to slow down, and I'm safe now. And sometimes this looks a lot more mentally than physically, because if you are in a lot of pain and you're not rushing around doing a bunch of things, your mind is. Your mind is on a hamster wheel and talking to you all the time, criticizing you, judging you, telling you you're not doing enough. That's actually the biggest place where I want you to slow down, is within your mind. Learn how to speak to yourself with compassion and grace and love. It's really what your body needs, is so much love and compassion. And that you don't have to earn the rest by being in pain first. You don't have to prove your worth by pushing through and doing everything you think you should be doing. In fact, pushing through it is what keeps most people stuck. Your body is trying to talk to you. And when you stop pushing and start listening, that's when things shift. So, I first want to call out that if any of these myths have been looping in your head, if you've been living in fear or fighting your body, or thinking this is just your life now, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be this way. So, I've actually created a free resource called the Chronic Pain Relief Kit that I would love for you to start with. It's below in the show notes under resources from me, and you can download it, work through it. There's a little bit of information. There's a quiz that you can take to make sure that this modality fits you and that you kind of align with this. Your pain aligns with what I'm talking about. And then I guide you through these myths, audio practice wise. And then you also get a free video to explain how to get started in this work. And, again, if you've listened to this at all I want to share is this work, is the mission behind understanding our bodies and mind and body and knowing that you can get out of it, that there really is a path to healing that's grounded in science, compassion, and the nervous system. And that you don't have to do it perfectly. There is no perfect at all. And that no, you're not broken. You're just ready for a new story. So go ahead and download that chronic pain relief kit. I really hope that it helps you. It's something that I just created out of this work, and I know actually that it will help you if you get started with it. And if you're curious about how I support people in this work at all beyond that relief kit, I've got some amazing resources and programs and one-to-one support options that walk you through this process step by step. So you can find that below as well. I offer private sessions as well as my Mind Body Healing Method group, which we are about to start very soon here. I have a whole new updated 2.0 program, and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, there's so much in here. We're going to have some guest experts come in. You're going to get so many videos and information links, and I very genuinely and gently guide you through this process. So if you are interested in that as well, you can send me a DMM or you can sign up on the waitlist below. And when you sign up on the waitlist, you will actually get 50% off once we launch as a founding member of the new and updated program. Okay. So if this episode spoke to you, I'd love if you would share it with a friend who needs to hear this message today as well. And remember, healing is not only possible, it is truly your birthright. Yeah? All right. I will see you next time, and keep healing with grace.